All right, guys, I'm going to show you the next piece of source control. So ultimately what we want to do is we want to be able to have a copy of what we work on anywhere so that we could work on it even if we didn't have IntelliJ, or we could use it so that if we were doing stuff at home, we could also have the exact same copy of stuff when we're working at school, and we can go back and forth without losing any information. Okay, so what you guys need to do to be able to do this for this one is you guys are going to go to your GitHub account, and you're going to go to the plus sign, and you're going to click on New Repository. Oops. Go ahead and click it. All right, and then it's going to open up a new repository. This one we're going to call Math Tester. You're going to use this multiple times to work out and understand some math equations. Just a repo for testing math operations and equations. Okay. We don't want it to initialize with the repository and this one, because we plan on making a copy with it as soon as we open it. So we can leave this unchecked. If you are trying to write something only in GitHub, then you're going to want to start there so that you can create files from there. But if we are setting this up where we could use IntelliJ initially, then we can have a good copy of everything. So we're going to leave public checked, leave this unchecked, and go ahead and click Create Repository. And now here we have this open up, and this is what we want. We want it where we see this URL. What we're going to do is we're going to click the copy to clipboard. We copy it. Okay, now on your desktop, you have an application called GitKraken. It looks like a little octopus that has a bunch of tentacles. We're going to go into there. Okay, and this is how we can help link up our files. So we're going to click either on File, and we're going to clone that repository. Or we could click on this little file right here. Either one would bring us there, or we could clone a repository. Now it's going to bring up a pop-up and say where to clone to. You guys are using your Z drive in your project folder that you have for the class. Okay, so whether it's CP1 projects or advanced programming, either one, you're going to select that from your Z drive. Do not put it in your documents. Okay, so we're going to click this. I have it in my documents because I'm on a personal computer. Okay, so I'm going to go to my CP1 projects. Okay, and I'm just going to have it selected. I'm not going to go into it. I'm just going to have it selected, and I click Select Folder. Now, in the URL, I'm going to click Control V for pasting the URL that we previously copied. So Control V. Now, what this is going to do is it's going to create a folder in our project folder that's called Math Tester. So whatever project you do, this is the process that you're going to do to start your projects. You're going to first create it in GitHub, and then you're going to create the folder structure on your desktop and clone the repo. So we're going to clone it. It's going to ask, do we want to open it now? We're going to click that we do, and then it's going to say that you have to initialize it first. So we're going to go ahead and do that. And now it's showing that we have this initial creation. Okay, and it automatically is going to do a README file just because we're pulling it down. So if I looked now in my folder structure, So if I looked in CP1, I now have a new folder that's called Math Tester. And the only thing I have in it is this README file that we got from GitHub. It was automatically created, and a .git file. This .git file is how we can have all this magic happen. Okay, so we want to leave that go. We don't want to delete it, otherwise nothing's tracked anymore. Okay, so now we can go into IntelliJ. So let me open up IntelliJ, and I can go to File, New, Project, and I'm going to set up a new project, that Math Tester, for example, and use that folder that was created. So in this one, I'm actually not going to have the template. I want you guys to create it from scratch. We're going to go Next, and our project name, we'll just call it Math Tester. And then in the project location, we need to open it up. You need to go to your Z drive. So you're going to be scrolling all the way down to your Z drive. This is only on my computer because I have my documents. Okay, so you would open up your CP1 project folder, your advanced programming projects folder, and you're going to look for that Math Tester folder. You're going to select it and you're going to click OK. After that, go ahead and click Finish, and it's going to build it out. We want to open it on this window. You may end up getting something where it's talking about Git in IntelliJ. IntelliJ is set up to help you with source control, but since we're using GitKraken, because I feel that it's easier to jump into, just choose to ignore or close it out. Okay, so now we have our structure. Notice we don't have a class created for us. It's just blank. Now what I want you to do is I want you to go to, if we go to GitHub right now, we still, even if I refresh the page, this is still all that we see. It's still empty. Okay, but if we go to GitKraken, we can choose to have it sync up. So first I seen that I had a master, and it shows my computer, and it shows an initial commit. Now I see this WIP, that stands for work in progress, and that means that I have, when I'm looking at this, I have 5 files that are different, that are new, that I have not done anything with on my remote, which is my GitHub that is now called Origin. It's different from my main computer. Okay, so if I see here it says on stage files, and I can look at each one of these files and see what they are. We have a bunch of other files that are XML that are related to creating the project. So we could go ahead and just click Stage All Changes. When you start working on a project and you have a Java file that you're working on, it will show up as a different color, and we'll see that. Okay, so now they're listed in the stage files. So just like what we had to do in GitHub, we had to commit. We had to commit our changes. Commit is like a save. When you're directly on the remote, if you commit, it automatically loads it in. On your computer, when you're using something like GitKraken, commit says that you're ready to push those changes, but you haven't actually pushed them yet. You have to sync it up after you commit the change. So we need to give it a meaningful message. So in this one we could call it Created IntelliJ Project. Okay. Now, if I clicked commit changes to those 5 files, that's the staged files, I could go ahead and commit that, and it's saying that I have this committed. Those files I want to load up, basically push to the server. Okay, now I have these buttons up here. I can easily, let's say that I forgot some of the files, I can easily undo, and now I'm back to where my stage files were, and I could rewrite my commit message if I wanted to. So this is good if you forgot to include a file, or you realize that you had too many files. So I can go ahead and do that. Now if I want to sync it up to my remote, my GitHub, and you have your picture already on there, all I have to do is I have to push it up there. Okay, so if I push, it's going to say what remote branch should master push to and pull from. We want to push to origin, that's this right here, from the master that is on our local. It's just the name of the branches. These are very common names. It's just something you'll have to get used to. Okay, we're going to go ahead and click submit. And now I see a success that we were able to push, and I see the picture that I have attached to my GitHub show up on the same line as this commit message. This lets me know that whatever I have on my computer is the exact same copy as what is on GitHub. So if I go to GitHub now and I refresh the page, I now see the folder structure that will look exactly like what I have in my math tester. The idea, the src, mathtester.iml, and the readme.md. Those are exactly the same. Okay, so now we could go back to IntelliJ and we could start making changes, and as long as we commit those changes and push them up, we will have an exact duplicate online that we can use. When we want to pull something from GitHub, so we have this, we've created stuff at home, we've created stuff on in class, and we want to pull this at a different location, okay, then what we are going to do is we're going to go to GitKraken, which I'm going to have videos for you guys to download all this stuff. You go to GitKraken and you have to pull the version, okay? So when you pull it down, you are getting the most recent copy. What change was there? Well, we don't have to worry about that yet. Okay, so that's basically it of how we can push and pull. I will do it more as we are working through this current project, but any project that you do, you first go to GitHub, you first copy that link after you create a repo, you clone it using GitKraken, using file, clone repo, or you use the folder and you go to clone repo. You say where you want it to go, you give it the URL, it's going to create that folder for you, and then you can push that back up after you commit those messages. That's how you can keep copies of stuff. So you could work from home, not even using an IDE, and open up a .java file and actually edit it directly online using your phone and be able to make those changes and then pull it down later on. And it will keep a history of everything that has happened with it. Okay?